earlier today, our Tim O'Brien spoke with Walter Clark of Walter Clark Legal Group to discuss charges filed by the man who attacked Dave Chappelle. Well, he's now suing the Hollywood Bowl, Dave Chappelle's security, and Chappelle himself following that 2022 incident.
All right, time now to bring in Walter Clark with the Walter Clark Legal Group. Dave Chappelle was attacked, Walter, on stage at the Hollywood Bowl in 2022 during a show. Well, the attacker, Isaiah Lee, now suing the venue and the security agency for excessive force, claiming to have been beat and spit on, even suffered a dislocated arm. Now, the first and most important question to ask you, knowing what we know at this point, does the attacker have a legitimate lawsuit against the venue and the security agency?
Well, the question of legitimacy is something entirely different. That may be up to a jury later on, but the bottom line is, under the First Amendment, he has an absolute right to seek redress for any harms he feels were caused him. He is a bad actor. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to have to even address the issue. It doesn't seem like he deserves anything, but he does deserve justice and due process. So it doesn't mean that we approve of what he did to put himself in harm's way, but he did in fact put himself in harm's way. The question is, was the force used after he was restrained?
Sure.
Was that excessive?
If you go back and watch the video too, I'm sure you saw it. This was not just a calm walk up for a conversation. It was a full-blown sprint to a tackle. So initially, I think any one of us would react a certain way. Chappelle himself was not physical whatsoever. He laid there and let everybody else kind of do their job. Now, in a case like this, Walter, there's said to be a weapon was found. A knife was found on the floor. Once the attacker was brought to the ground. Where's the drawn line, though, with excessive force with that? Does that give them the right to attack a little bit more seriously with the weapon there?
Well, certainly it does make it a more urgent situation. But after he's restrained, after he's harmless, there isn't a right to abuse him. I mean, there's no right, once he's down and restrained, to kick him or to stab him or to put their knee on his neck and try to kill him. I mean, that's reasonable, isn't it? We don't want that kind of extreme conduct. It may seem or feel like it's deserved, given what that guy did. But if he's seriously injured, there are a lot of scenarios where that simply should not be encouraged. So, yes, he has a right to bring a lawsuit. None of us feel it's likely to be succeeding. But gosh, that's a jury's not going to be real happy with this guy, I'm sure.
Once a jury does sit down and listen and see all the details, will this motive be viewed as intentional? And what I mean by that is Mr. Lee, open to being bisexual and once homeless, which is material that Chappelle is known to use in the past. So why even go to the event and put yourself through something like that?
Well, it's a separate issue, isn't it? Because what we're talking about is whether or not he has a right to use the justice system to seek compensation for injuries which he feels were the result of excessive force. The content of the show, of course, doesn't give him a license to go and attack somebody with a knife. That's ridiculous. But don't fault our system of justice just because this idiot tried to do something that is completely illegal. The question is, what happened after? Does that mean that gives license to these guys to try to do serious permanent damage to them? We may feel like that would be the right thing, but that's the question of fact. And I don't think that excessive force, by its definition, is appropriate, right?
Totally agreed. And you bring up a good point about having the right, of course, to defend yourself, the right to do this. Mr. Lee came out and said that he wanted to use this as a protest tactic. Protesting and running up on stage and being physical, two totally different things.
Right. Well, they're all sort of one thing in the sense that what he did was wrong. The question is, are we going to endorse an action which is also wrong, which is to, when someone's down and restrained and harmless, to then license or approve beating him? I don't know what happened. He's claiming he was the victim of excessive force after the incident. I don't know what happened, but the bottom line is, as a citizen of this country, he has an absolute right under the First Amendment to bring the claim. And, it's not going to turn out to be anything, I think, but it's irritating to see this. And we don't want to indict our system of justice just because this guy may feel he has a right to a lawsuit, he does. Doesn't mean he'll win.
Right. Doesn't make it right either, for sure. I happen to agree with that, Walter. Thank you so much, Walter Clark, the Walter Clark Legal Group, for joining us this afternoon. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll certainly chat soon. On the other side of the break, we'll take a full look at your headlines coming up.